NYPD just revealed they have multiple things they're looking to charge Diddy with. And whenever you have more than one charge in play, a RICO is always an option. The news broke after the John Doe lawsuit against Diddy. So a John Doe recently sued Diddy, alleging that Diddy gave him spiked liquor and then took advantage of him at a Hollywood party. The John Doe alleging they were a minor at the time and they were essentially fed into the grip of Diddy.
Who's the John Doe?
And the John Doe is actually famous. And that to me is the most interesting part about this. The John Doe will reveal in the court filings they are a child star. They are famous. They are a public figure. They're
a child star or a current star.
Filing under John Doe to conceal their identity due to career ramifications this may have. Now, I don't know exactly who John Doe is. I do have my suspicions.
A former child star slams P. Diddy with a disturbing civil lawsuit. She alleges the singer sexually assaulted him at a Hollywood party. Speculation is stirring about who this star could be.
Justin Bieber. All right, on count three, you say who y'all think. The Usher. What kind of star? What they was doing? Disney star, Nickelodeon star, or like Home Alone star?
Get this video started. If you want to learn how I made $142,000.
Oh my God, Flacco, don't do this to us.
Let's get started. Let's grind. Let's make money together.
Okay. But the newest allegation in the Diddy case comes from an unlikely source, a former child star who says Diddy performed oral sex on him at a Hollywood party.
You mean he sucked it? Wow.
He was still underage. And this brings forth a whole host of questions. Like, for instance, could P. Diddy face more criminal charges relating to these accusations? Is his current conviction relevant to these accusations? I mean, does it bolster them? Where does this civil case fall in line with the rest of the civil cases he's already up against and above?
Right, because to be fair, this isn't the first accusation that, you know, underage people were involved and stuff like that. Although nothing has been proven, because you better believe if it was a possibility, he'd be back in double jail.
All,
be more charges.
Who is this celebrity child star? Well, the latter question is all speculation because the former child star has filed the lawsuit under John Doe. So we don't have an actual name, but we do know that it's a male who was reportedly already famous when the alleged incident happened.
I gotta know what people think. Well, let me look at the comments. Who people think it is? I'm mad at myself for watching this video on a Friday night. I never say when somebody's done. Somebody said Justin Bieber. What else they got? That was my first thought. Actor, but he an actor though, right? That's what I'm trying to think. Josh Peck or Drake Ball. I don't know. Romeo Miller. You think Lil Romeo? Bobby J? I don't know who that is. Somebody said it's academics. Damn. We don't know. When we find out, we'll let y'all know. All right, back to the video. I'm just saying.
Another clue, their acting career started in 2004. Who do y'all think it is, man?
Just like
because this person is a child actor or they're famous, to me, that gives them more credibility. Because I don't see the reason why somebody famous or a celebrity will come out, file a lawsuit under John Doe, make up these false allegations against Diddy that they know are going to be proven false and like in a court of law. Like, I just don't know why. Like, what would a celebrity gain from this?
Money. That's just one thing. I'm not saying I agree with the celebrity one way or another, but there is something to gain. And they clearly want money without the fame, you know, because this is a lawsuit. These aren't criminal charges. If they were criminal charges, you know, you may see it otherwise. But then you're talking about a minor. If this person was underage, they probably didn't, you know, they weren't really in control of their own movements or whatever. So they might not have been in a position to file legal action back then. But now they're looking for, you know, some sort of monetary damages.
See, the regular person will gain the attention they want, the clout they want, and possibly a settlement. If you are a child actor and a celebrity and you essentially have all to lose, like you're already famous, you coming up with these allegations will only ruin your name and public reputation. I just don't think a celebrity would take that risk if they knew these charges were false. Diddy was not the...
I don't know if they was false, if they were close, or they could have been. if they were in a could have been situation.
The only person that's included in this lawsuit. They would also include a talent agency that they believe kind of set up this party for Diddy to groom and meet and violate minors in the industry. Wow. They feel like these people knew that these minors had no business being at that party by themselves, but they kind of sent the minors there knowing something like this would have happened. And the fact that they are including other people, including a talent agency and specific dates, to me is, listen, man, I'm not willing to just call this frivolous or cloud chasing, bruh. They're bringing in other people. They're bringing in dates and times. This looks bad for Diddy.
According to the lawsuit, the boy started his career acting in about 2004. Plaintiff, meaning John Doe, immediately began working in the entertainment industry, securing initial roles that provided early professional exposure and experience. The lawsuit alleges the boy was on some high-profile shows, but it doesn't specify which shows. It does, however, say the alleged incident happened involving Diddy back in 2007, meaning the boy would have had about 3 years experience in Hollywood at the time. Now, according to the filing, the boy reached out to his agents for help with his career, and this is common in Hollywood. They arranged different networking events where he could go and mingle and meet people, and it was all basically to build visibility with other actors, directors, and celebrities. And that, according to the court docs, is how he met P. Diddy in 2007 at one such networking event in the Hollywood Hills. The suit titles this section as, quote, the attack on plaintiff, describing what allegedly happened. According to the child star, he started off at the party by mingling with people and then noticed P. Diddy talking to some other actors who were in the crowd. But eventually, Diddy allegedly approached the boy. Diddy and the boy began talking about his career, and then Diddy said the boy could be a good candidate for an upcoming project. Defendant Combs told plaintiff he wanted to speak to him privately about some potential opportunities that defendant Combs had in mind for plaintiff. Defendant Combs guided plaintiff to the back rooms of the event. Defendant Combs and plaintiff went into one of the back rooms together. Defendant Combs shut the door to the back room behind.
Yo, the only thing that's throwing me off is the actor part. Young actors. I can't. I'm not sure. To me, it makes a difference who the person is. If we're talking about somebody who was, in the background on a not so big show, or someone who's, let's say, perhaps their money doesn't match their fame, then this whole thing is looked at with, a different lens. Mostly because it's so old. Something is really old. You got to look at context. Because there isn't a lot of physical evidence. There couldn't be. Not at this point.
At this point, Diddy allegedly gave the boy some alcohol. And I want to pause here to note, if you followed the P. Diddy trial at all, you know that multiple witnesses testified that Diddy allegedly plied them with alcohol that was sometimes drugged. Multiple other civil law.
Ain't alcohol already a drug?
Lawsuits allege that Diddy forced survivors to drink alcohol that had allegedly been drugged in order to sexually assault them. According to this most recent filing, John Doe alludes to a similar situation. He says that Diddy gave him some alcohol and then allegedly began touching him and rubbing inappropriate parts of his body. Unexpectedly, defendant Combs started to touch plaintiff. First, defendant Combs began to rub on plaintiff's arm. Plaintiff told defendant Combs that he did not feel comfortable with the way defendant Combs was touching him. Defendant Combs tried to relax plaintiff and continued to touch plaintiff, moving his hands down plaintiff's body, beginning with touching his arm and then down to his stomach. It all culminated with Diddy allegedly performing oral on the boy, who once again was a child at the time.
If you are a Diddy defender and you really want to excuse Diddy, you could very easily make the point. Diddy did this in a party full of people. You think Diddy is that bold to do this in a party full of people with a child actor he never met before? He took them in a separate room, gave them spike liquor.
It depends on what kind of party it was. We've heard things about those parties. I'm not saying for sure at all. You can't just believe any, random child actor. But it depends on the quality of the parties, man. We've heard some things about these parties. Now, to be fair, we were supposed to get all kind of tapes of the parties, and really what we got is some weird situation with Diddy and Daphne Joy and all that other stuff. But that didn't look like the wild Hollywood party people always talk about. We don't know what's acceptable in those spaces.
Took advantage of him, risking this child actor running out the room and screaming, "He raped me, he raped me, he raped me."
Because if it was the right party, they'd be like, yeah, I thought that's what they do here. So they say. I don't know. I'm not at the party.
Right? Like, come on. To me, that right there is like the only response, but I'll be real. I don't think even that response is strong enough, because I do feel like once you start to name dates and times and bring in other people who's a part of this, I don't know, bro. It's looking terrible for Diddy, man. LAPD did announce, it is unclear if this John Doe case or instance is a part of it, but LAPD did reveal they believe they have enough to charge Diddy with two particular things, right? Two set of crimes involving SA.
Okay.
Now, it's unclear when they're going to charge Diddy, if they're going to charge Diddy, but they did say they believe they have enough and they're moving forward.
Well, Diddy allegedly touched himself. Defendant Combs then pulled up his pants and told plaintiff he would see where they would go from there for the role that he had in mind for Defendant Combs' project.
Damn, he ain't even give him the role? He did all that? Diddy, you a cold boy. You cold-blooded, Diddy, I tell you.
Plaintiff was in shock and pulled his clothing back up. After this, the boy was left completely alone. According to the lawsuit, he was in total shock. So he waited for his ride to come and then he left. P. Diddy is listed as a defendant in the lawsuit, but so too are some of the talent agencies for their alleged involvement. The child star alleges it was their duty to protect him, and they didn't. In fact, the adult agents allegedly didn't even attend the party and instead encouraged this child star to go alone without a chaperone. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and thereon alleges that—
Like he was delivered? Like they had a little setup, a little steam going on, a little Epstein, a little steamy situation.
Defendant Combs and agents spoke prior to the event in order to conspire to create an event disguised as an industry meeting in order to provide Defendant Combs with an opportunity to come into contact with minor children like plaintiff. Plaintiff believes that the agents—
Right, because he can't just meet him at the playground or nothing like that. All I'm saying is, I don't know, Diddy there's been no solid evidence to this point that Diddy mixed it up with young people. So far, I feel like if it would have been, it seems like that should have been the initial charges, if there was any validity to this. But, time will tell.
Knew that Diddy had a reputation for sexually assaulting children and urged the boy to attend the party anyway. Now, this lawsuit was filed on Monday, June 8th in Los Angeles Superior Court, bringing forth a slew of allegations, including childhood sexual assault, sexual battery, negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, false imprisonment, violation of the Ralph Civil Rights Act, negligent supervision of a minor, and sexual harassment under Civil Code 51.9. Either way, P. Diddy himself has completely denied the allegations. His team told local TV station KTLA-5 the accusations are, quote, false and ridiculous. His team released a statement saying, quote, he's just another hater in a long list of people trying to get in on the money gravy train encouraged by personal injury lawyers. Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, and that includes any child. These allegations will be disproved like all the rest. So that's Diddy's stance. But according to the LA Times, investigators on the West Coast are taking a closer look at all of these allegations. The Times reports the LA County District Attorney's Office has been reviewing sexual assault allegations against P. Diddy, and that the LAPD and Sheriff's Department have presented two separate cases for possible criminal charges. So is this—
I don't know, man. It looks like they want him. It just looks like a lot of people are taking a lot of interest and they want him.
John Doe case involved? Could P. Diddy face additional charges, maybe even state charges out of California? I don't know. These are all questions I need an expert opinion for.
Good news and bad news. If Dave tried twice, then clearly, the case is not as concrete or as strong as you would want it to be.
Right, because they would have him.
Because they haven't charged him yet. Bad news is, they're going to charge you. Like, I don't feel like these people are type of people to investigate, have a charge, try to charge you with it. The grand jury didn't really go along with it, and then they drop it. I feel like they're coming for Diddy. They're going to R. Kelly him. R. Kelly
They might be waiting for when he come home. He might get rearrested right when he about to leave. They do that to people. He going home, he getting fresh, he feeling good, he dancing, people outside, Diddy, 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 baby oil skeeting all over the sky. Remember how it was at his trial, all kind of maniacs? That's how it's going to be when he touched down, but he might get rearrested. They might just he just got to switch jumpsuits.
Was in there was a day where R. Kelly got a bond from his random fans who bonded out R. Kelly. R. Kelly already had a warrant out for his arrest for a new case like that same night.
They do that.
That's how they're gonna do Diddy. If Diddy gets out, the first thing you want to do, my boy, get out of the United States. Take Cassie, for example, bro.
Russell Simmons.
Right? Because when you in their faces and you remind them of what you did, that's just where the investigation gets deeper. They're gonna bring more victims. Right, they're gonna bury you. But if you get out of their faces, you go to a third world country somewhere, bro. You go to Cuba, you go to Liberia, you go to somewhere in West Africa.
I heard Bangkok is nice for you guys this time of year. Allegedly.
And you just chill off the grid, off the map. I feel like they'll leave you alone. But if you think, right hand of God did it, I ain't lying to you. If you think you about to get out of jail, get to Harlem bopping and Harlem shaking, on top of the cars, can't stop, won't stop.
Nah, they ain't gonna like that.
Back on top of the world, billboard in Times Square, get back to Diddy stuff. You are sadly mistaken. They're gonna get you out the paint.
Not one goddamn bit.
Just get yourself out the paint, bro. Get yourself out the way, man. Leave.
Get low.
Because them folks not playing with you, bruh. And if they got 2, they probably got about 10 more, right? They just was able to get 2 to probably stick. Right, come, like put it together, submitted it. Nah, just not enough. Okay, cool. They about to draw it back in, finesse it a little bit, change it up a little bit, and resubmit it. I'm telling you, bro, they about to resubmit it. How many times they need to, Diddy? You is going to jail. 2 years.
You already in jail. You mean you staying in jail?
Ain't enough, man. Brian still played in them folks' face. They want blood and flesh.
But this plaintiff, by definition, and in the text of the complaint, is no longer a minor. There's no good reason why his identity should be shielded.
And just to explain this to our viewers, when P. Diddy is...
Right, because we need to know, it does make a difference. When there's no physical evidence, you got to go by, circumstantial evidence, character evaluation.
Served with this, or his team, whatever, they get, this lawsuit and it says John Doe. Did they actually get to know the identity of this person, or is it simply just John Doe to them too?
I suspect, Diddy is well represented. They will have a very good idea as to who the John Doe is, but it's still what it denies his lawyers and investigators the tips that you get in these cases. So in other words, if, as I suspect, they move to have John Doe's name made public, they will start to get a lot of feedback from the public at large as to who this person is in terms of his credibility. It's just making the defendants fight with one arm tied behind their backs, and I just don't think, as a matter of due process, it's fair.
And again, to remind our viewers, this is a civil lawsuit. These are allegations. He doesn't have criminal charges involving all of this. But isn't it kind of tricky to bring a case like this? Because according to this child star, John Doe, this happened back in 2007. Obviously, we're now in 2026. If there was any cell phone data, maybe they have it still, cameras or video. Like, things would be a lot different now versus then. Do you think, obviously, there's a different burden of proof when it comes to a civil case, but isn't that an uphill battle bringing an allegation like this from, more than a decade ago?
Right, I agree, because they will have the burden of proof. The John Doe plaintiff will have the burden of proof, whether it's by preponderance of the evidence or clear and convincing. It still will be his burden, and it will be harder to carry that burden in light of, as you said, there probably will be spoliation or destruction of any contemporaneous communications at the time, if any. And some of the technology was older than in any event. So I think that is a disadvantage to the plaintiff. But it also, I've been on the other side of these, and it's harder for the defendant in a he said context